Hello, welcome, people. Yes, after I finished the live chat yesterday, I thought about it and I said, there's a few things that I could have said better or add more to the conversation. So here come part two. Okay. Um, First of all, keep in mind when I said that anyone that is talking up a book, showing a book, telling you that it's gonna go higher. Not everyone have bad intention. Okay, let me make it very clear. Just because a person do that does not mean that he trying to pump it, he has bad intention. Okay, some people do believe that, and it's nothing wrong with believing that a book that they have has potential to go high and want to talk about it. Okay, I chose not to do that because I came from a world with many years of experience where I see more bad intention than people with honest intention. So I just learned not to pump anything that I have. I don't need to. There's already enough people in this world that pump many things. I don't need to add one more pump. Plus, I'm nobody. Okay, I'm where I am today. I am nobody. I am in no position to pump anything. Most people don't listen to me. This channel is nothing. There are people. Um, there are people that think that I have a huge channel and having a couple of hundred views per video is something influence, some kind of influence. I'm not an influencer in any sort of way. Okay, let's make it very clear. As in Chris Rose is here, Dr. Doom is here. If you don't know already, Comic Tom probably has 5 or 10 times more subscriber. Okay, so whatever I say here, he can drown me out if he wish easily. Plus, I can tell you this: the majority of his viewers are not my viewers. I don't contain or produce the content that is fun for his audience. So it's not the same thing, and I'm not worried about my opinion getting back to me as some sort of retaliation by CGC or any other company because I dislike what they do. Yes, a person advised me to tone down my criticism of CGC because I'm too big and they're gonna do something, retaliate. Complete utter bollocks, okay? Utter bollocks. Grow a balls. Grow a couple balls. That's the kind of nonsense that does not need to be around me at any time. Okay, I know who I am. I don't need anyone to advise me to be careful. You should tone down your criticism of CGC. It's utter stupid. There's a lot of things that I am. Ballless is not one of them. Yeah, Dr. Doom. One of the best thing about that video, okay, is it highlight the key player behind the scene, and they're not even behind the scene; they are in front of the scene, pushing, pumping, hyping. Okay, it is eye-opening, but at the same time, it go back to what I said yesterday. It is an obvious game that has been played in just about every market. Okay, the portfolio manager, the hedge funds manager on Wall Street, they're not hiding. They're not. They are out there up front on CNBC, on Twitter, on anywhere else that they that you can put a camera on their face and they will hype and pump and lie and do whatever it takes to talk up any company that they want you to buy into, to pay higher, to FOMO into, so that they can exit. So what's going on with that video as far as the guy that created water heritage, all that stuff, appearing on a Pawn Star, all that stuff? Huh? Is that to me? That's not shocking. To me, it is funny because I seen this in the stock market. I see how the big boys have no problem because you know why? They have no problem doing what they're doing because the public in general are so gullible, so gullible. It's incredibly gullible to see how people just watch TV, listen to the radio. People just believe in it. I have a saying that I say all the time. A lot of people believe in everything and understand nothing. They, whatever they hear or see, they believe. Okay, they take it as gospel. Oh my God, I heard that on TV. I heard that on the news. I read that on some blog, and boom, it becomes facts. Okay, that's how fake news are so easily influencing people because people believe in everything. They never question the source. They just believe in everything and know nothing. Holy cow! It's mind-boggling the level of ignorance in this world. Forget about this hobby. In this world, it's just like it's rampant. Okay, it's rampant. It's just like people running around believing, repeating, just saying a whole lot of nonsense based on nothing. Craig is here. Craig Reader. Chris Ross asked, "Were you a gullible? Was you more gullible when you were younger, or were you always a free thinker?" Um, I would say that if you don't know my story, Chris Rose, okay, I'm gonna assume that you don't know my story, okay? I came to America when I was 13 without my parents, okay? I grew up on the street. I lived in the ghetto of Albany, New York. For those that know Albany, New York, you know Arbor Hill? Arbor Hill, the ghetto, okay? I become street smart very quickly. Luckily, I'm also brain smart and book smart. So I got the triple. Okay, so it's nice to be able to think and see things. I have been a self starter. Got my first paper route when I was 14 to buy my first comic book. Blah blah blah. Okay, so I don't need to go through the whole origin story of ETA Nick, but um, I basically has been on my own. Okay, since as long as I can remember. Sure, I live with a guardian family, foster family, whatever you want to label it. But basically, I worked 30 hours a week all through high school. I pay for my own stuff. Okay, I didn't want anybody to buy my shoes, my backpack, my winter coat, even when I was in high school. Okay, I was set to determine to be on my own, and in many ways, it make me who I am. Because trust me, when it come down to this world, okay, I am not easy on people that are lazy because I have never been lazy. I'm lazy now because I work hard enough for many years that I can chill and not work anymore and be on YouTube and goof around and feed my chicken and do whatever I want to do. But it was 30 plus years of working crazy hours. Even when I was 15, 16, 17, I knew what it take. I was willing to put in the work at 16, 17, and 18 to do something, to make something of myself. So at the end of the day, was I Free thinker, yes, absolutely, always have been. Okay, even my worst job was washing dishes, and I can tell you, those days when I was washing dishes at the graveyard shift at a diner, I knew I would rather jump off a bridge than be a follower of anybody. Okay, I would rather have a hot dog stand. At that point, I didn't know what I wanted to do. At that point, I was I couldn't wait to have a hot dog stand in New York City selling hot dogs to make a living. Because I visited New York City a few times and I saw people was able to sell hot dog and sausage on the corner of the street and earn a living. And I'm just like, man, I wish I can buy a hot dog stand to sell on the corner of New York City. Okay, because yeah, but being a free thinker is about, you know, I think how I become a free thinker because I want to do something for myself. I didn't want other people to tell me my limitation of what I cannot do, what I should do. So yeah, but I for sure was gullible and naive in many other things. Okay, I can tell you about recognizing pump and dump and understanding how the market in general. When I talk about the market, I'm talking about stock market, any market, stock market, comic market, you know, the market, any market is easily manipulated because people are predominantly ruled by greed and fear. Predominantly, okay? That's how we are, okay? And then social media, of course, add another layer to this, okay? 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we didn't have social media. Sure, fear and greed is there, but with social media, it make the problem 10 times worse because now the megaphone, now the big player, the one that can manipulate, have access to a microphone that can just blast their message 24/7. And we as human beings, the flaw is we soak it up. We we hear whenever we like a message, we soak it up and we can't get enough of it. Okay, that's how people get sucked into doing a lot of stupid things because I talked about this yesterday. You know, the people that need confirmation, affirmation, whatever they buying, whatever they're speculating on, can't stop watching more video that say the same thing. Okay, they can spend 2 hours a day watching 10 different channels that talk about the same exact thing and will write the same comment. Awesome video, completely agree. You know, it's just like social media has turned the fear, the greed, the affirmation, confirmation bias into a an endless loop, and people just cannot get off of the loop. Okay, you need to get off the matrix. Okay, in many ways, I wish I'm off the matrix. I've been saying this since the movie The Matrix came out. I don't know how. I'm just lucky and blessed that I'm off the matrix. But I think a lot of people are stuck in the matrix because they're in this endless loop of positive feedback of what they're doing is the right thing by listening to the same message over and over and over. And even when the message turned out to be a bad one, they can't get off the matrix. You know, it is a very sad commentary on society with social media and the feedback loop that people get themselves into. Okay. Now, as far as me get wiser with the market and the pump and dump, I can tell you when that happened. I worked in the financial business, portfolio managing, portfolio stock analyst, all that stuff from 1996 to 2001. roughly. Okay. And that was my exposure to big money, Wall Street. And I have a lot of friends or people I work with that was in various position, and that's when I learned and understand Wall Street to the core of the rotten apple that it is. Okay, um, when well, I was friend. My best friend at the time had a have a good friend that was a stock analyst. Okay, for a firm, a well-known firm on Wall Street. You know, a stock analyst is a one that you hear on CNBC. They go on CNBC and they say, "I'm recommending Apple. My price target is $500 a share because of blah 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 blah." Okay, you see this daily on CNBC. They invite various analysts to talk about a stock and to give rosy pictures and prediction, all that stuff. Okay, and so my good friend had a friend that do that for a living, and he over time say and show me so many things that make my mind going. That's when I realized that you know that's how the game is played on Wall Street, and that also applies to just about every other market. Be very careful of the people talking. Okay, go back to this early chat in the beginning when I said not everyone that talk about a potential investment in a book is pumping and dumping. There are people with honest belief and opinion, but the big player is in the player that you see in that video with Wata and Heritage and CCC and all that. When the big players speak, they are not, how should I word it? They are not the same as a as a nobody like me that say, oh, you should buy X-Men 1 because that book have a bright future in 3 or 4 years because the X-Men franchise is going to blow up. It's not the same. What I'm saying is not the same as the big guns saying something. Okay. Um, but back to my example of Wall Street and the analyst. The analyst, you know, I pick his brain like, how do you make money? Like let's say you make a recommendation on Apple and it's wrong, right? How are you compensated? Being the naive and gullible person that I am, right? I ask those kind of questions. And he looked at me and he laughed. He's just like, oh, you are so new to this. You are so new to this game. He's like, okay, you got to understand. You have to understand. This is 1998, okay, ish. Back then commission was not free. Back then trading cost a lot of money. Okay, you can't even trade for less than $20 a trade. It was a lot more. There was a lot more fees for Wall Street. Okay, but the story still carry. Okay, he looked at me and he laughed and he chuckled. He's just like, Nick, my job is not about being right. Okay, when I go out there and I issue a buy order or a sell order on a stock, one of the key purpose of what I'm doing is create news and create movement and volume. Let me repeat that. My job is to create news, however not true, baseless, nonsense it is, to create news, create movement, and to create volume, trading. And he said, that's how I am compensated because the active trading generate revenue, generate commissions for the firm that I work for, and in turn I get a cut of that. That's one key reason. Number two, when Wall Street say sell Apple and people go out there and sell, every transaction require two parties, all right? a buyer and a seller. Who do you think is buying when they say sell and people go out there and sell? The firm, okay? And vice versa, when a firm say buy Apple, let's say his firm, okay? Let's say he went out there and say Apple is so undervalued. Everybody need to go out there and buy Apple. And it generate a whole bunch of volume, people piling on FOMO into chasing Apple. He make a ton of money because of the commission, right? But guess who is selling to the client? His firm from their inventory. Have you ever hear Goldman Sachs say they lost money trading? Or any they Goldman Sachs, Wall Street in general, they make money. Not they don't make money all the time from trading, but they buy and sell from inventory. In order for them to build up inventory, they have to buy cheap. In order for them to make money trading, they need to sell high. Okay, it is mind-boggling that even today, people that have been in the market for a long time still say, "Oh yeah, Goldman Sachs just say buy that stock, so I'm buying that stock." I'm like, no, the time to buy that stock is when Goldman Sachs says sell. The time to start taking profit is when they say buy. Goodness gracious. Okay, it's just mind-boggling the naivete, the gullibleness of people in this world. It's just the messengers have ulterior motives. I can't say enough about how when I see people humping and pumping and lying and hyping, there are ulterior motives. Yet people can't see it. They cannot see it. Okay, they even if I can guarantee you, there are people that watch this video later or right now that will not be able to contain themselves as far as follow the herd. Oh, well, that channel said buy this because it's a good investment, and I'm gonna go and buy myself 20 copy of that new. It's that's where I think social media is so poisonous for a lot of people because social media in general is not bad, but for a lot of people that have that tendency to just do what somebody else is talking or saying because that's the way they are, okay, it's extremely dangerous. Yes, I use the word dangerous because a lot of people just follow mindlessly doing something because somebody ay 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 it's sad. I'm disappointed at human in general, to be honest. It's just because we are the smartest species, but at times we are dumber than a rock. um so basically that's what I want to say after I ended the chat last night. I'm like, oh, there's a couple of things that I could have talked about. Just it's the example I just gave about Wall Street. um you know and in general, there's nothing wrong with people talking about something is a good investment or not. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But the bigger channel, the people on TV, you should look at you should be skeptical of what they are saying. It is such an act. It's TV. It's fake. It's phony. Okay, in many ways. I remember seeing dealers, comic book dealers, showing up on Pawn Star, acting like some kind of like naive guy that just found a copy of Amazing Fantasy 15 or whatever and asked for. Yeah, that has happened. For those that watch Pawn Star, that has happened. Just like that guy that bring the video game. It's stage. It's stage, for God's sake. Okay, know something. It's all stage. Did you see that on Pawn Store? Somebody brought a Super Mario and an expert showed up and said that it was $1 million. It's so staged. Oh, for those that remember the episode where a person brought in the Amazing Fantasy 15 to Pawn Star, oh, mm, there have been people that bring in, Teenage Mutant Ninja 1. There are legit people. But I can tell you, some of the stuff that you see on Pawn Star are stage ridiculous. I mean, it's shamelessly ridiculously because the dealer is well known. Anyone that know or been to a convention know who that person is. I'm just like, oh, gee, how low can you go? Apparently, a lot lower than I thought of you already. Yeah, how low can you go? Right? It's utter garbage. Okay, human garbage. All right. So trust me, I have very little respect for people that do that kind of stuff. And please, people, be skeptical. Okay. Now, does that mean that I agree that you should be skeptical of all things? Always do your homework. The hardest thing about social media, the hardest thing about fake news is who do you believe? Okay. Who do you believe? I that I don't have the answer for you. Okay. Because when it comes down to who do you believe, a lot of time it's not about truth or facts. People that searching, looking, and trying to latch onto a person, a voice, a channel to believe in something, they are looking for, you know, view that they agree with already. So it's not that they are looking for the answer. People that anti-vax or skeptical of vaccinated, they don't care about facts. I can be a doctor. I can show them all the facts I can give them as far as, it's safe. It's not going to implant a chip in your blood vein. It's not going to do all this. They don't care. They find truth with channels that they agree with. That's where it is impossible to try to get people to look at facts because they're not looking for facts. They're looking for confirmation bias. Okay, they're looking for people that say the same thing, so that they like, oh yeah, see, he said that. That's what I knew it. I knew it. He said that, so yeah, it doesn't matter how stupid my brain is that I thought about this thing, but he said it, so he agrees with me. I am right. Yeah, I'm right. Holy cow! The level of stupidity and ignorance get amped up when people add in confirmation and affirmation bias. It is so sad. It is extremely sad because at that point, I recognize this kind of behaviors. Okay, so I don't even bother try to argue or debate with these people because you know where their heads are. All right, I didn't want to run this more than half an hour unless other people have any questions. But I'd be more than happy to explain more about this phenomenon as far as gamemanship of this hobby. I'd be more than happy to talk more because you know part of how the games work for the big boys, the scammers, is that people believe. I can't say enough about, please people, do not believe in the pump. Okay, when something jumped 300% in 3 months or 6 months, please, please, for the love of God, do not think that, oh, I gotta buy, it's going higher. The book triple, the future is bright. What are you thinking? Okay, it's just, it's at some point, At some point, please, people, okay? That's not how the world works. When something jumped that much, it's already been manipulated, and you are playing right into the game by paying the high price. Step the F back, drink a little water, and calm and cool yourself off. Well, please say you are the most honest person. Thank you. Some people don't like to hear that. Because I don't have ulterior motives. Okay. I want to sell my books. I'd be happy to exit the hobby in a few years. I have never a need to talk up a book. I don't need to. It's already hundreds of channels out there talking up every single book, however nonsense it is. Okay, because 99.99999% of the YouTubers in this community are just eating it up. Okay, I have people that watch my channel. Nick, you should talk more about how explosive the future is because of China. Huh? What? The same China that is banning Disney movies? You think they are you think they be back buying comic books? Oh my goodness, people, stop believing in the nonsense. Okay, I can tell you, I used to sell big keys, small keys, minor keys to people in Hong Kong, in Australia, in Singapore. I did. You know how many of those sales happened in the last 2 years? Yeah. No, nobody's buying in China. Okay. Oh my God. The FOMO is real. Hey, nothing goes up in crazy percentage without FOMO. That's given. Okay, that's given. The question is who is jumping on the FOMO bandwagon and why? Okay, often the reason is not sound whatsoever. Okay, whatsoever. Scott Farr is here. Hello. Leon is here. Lionel. He said that he realized who were the people who make market moves when they pump a book. Yeah. Before I go, Jason Camp asks, do you think the bubble will pop like in the 80s and 90s? Um, this bubble is different. Okay. I don't think it will pop like the one in the 80s or 90s. I don't think. Will it pop? Yes. Every bubble pop. Every bubble pop. There's no such thing in the history of mankind as a bubble that won't pop. Whether it's the crazy stock market that we have right now, big bubble there, nobody can tell when it's gonna pop. Okay. A lot of time, well, sometime you can, just like the real estate market bubble pop in 2007, 2008, that was seen by a lot of people. Okay. But I don't think it will pop like it did in the because very different dynamic today. Okay. The market of the 80s and 90s, that's a complete different beast because you didn't have CGC, you didn't have high print run like you have. Okay, back then, 3 million Spider-Man one or 5 million X-Men one by Jim Lee, a whole lot of nonsense. Yeah, that is not the same. Okay, what's popped there is a lot of younger people leaving because they said, this is stupid." They were right. It was stupid. They grew up and said, "My God, Death of Superman, this is stupid." They print millions of these books. Yeah. Today, the market is very different. You're talking about, many books with print run 100,000 or less. And the whole CGC game, the whole high grade slabbing game that changed a lot of things. There's a lot of big money in it. Um, but it will pop. I don't know what will. I don't think what's going on with last week with the gaming of the game Wata and that is nothing new. Okay, to me, that does not surprise me. I know how those kind of game has been played. Like I said, it's a joke. It's a complete joke. Okay, if you didn't know, and now you see how all the big player was so happy to be on TV talking it up. Understand this. They do this in the open because they can and they will because people believe. Okay, that's the problem. Like I said yesterday, I don't have a problem with the messengers because they do what the market allowed them to do because the general public are so naive, so naive. It bothers me. I am more troubled by the general public than I am with the scammer, liar, scum that they are. Yes, I just use the word scum, okay, because that's what they are. Lying sack of shizzle, okay? But they are succeeding and winning because people are believing. Not much more for me to say. Anyhow, uh, I think 40 minutes is more than enough, right? Thank you for tuning in. For those that tune in later and watch this, hopefully I don't come across as a ranting maniac. uh, Boss Hog said, Nick, you are the real watcher of this community. I try. I try to be the voice of reason. Okay. I try. Okay. But you know how life is. Okay. Reason, logic, common sense, it's not sexy. It's not fun. It's not entertaining. I need, for me to be popular, for me to have voices and opinions that carry weights, I need to be a complete douchebags. Something that I'd rather be viewed as an a-hole that people don't like than a lying scum. Okay, so you guys out there that like lying scum, keep believing in the lying scums out there. There are plenty. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Bye bye.